Well, today isn't exactly the video I thought we'd be making. About 2 months ago, we tried a different way of improving the horse paddock. The idea was to save ourselves a whole lot of work, a fair bit of money, and hopefully still end up with a decent pasture. Safe to say, it hasn't exactly gone to plan. Today we're moving the horses back in here anyway, but before we do, I wanted to show you exactly what we tried, why we think it didn't work, and what we'll probably do differently next time. Because if you're going to make mistakes on a farm, you might as well let everyone on YouTube learn from them too. Greetings guys, we're back out with the spreader again today. We're going to be putting the oversowing the horse paddock in the top right corner. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll probably remember all the work we did in the back paddocks. That was the full renovation. We slashed everything right down, we tilled the soil, applied calcium, applied single super phosphate, and we added some agri-boost at the end. Then seeded with tall fescue and Balanza clover before giving it a really good harrow. It was a lot of work with our little tractor, and it certainly wasn't free or easy. So when it came time to tackle the front paddock, we thought, what if we tried something much simpler? We listened to a lot of the comments from the previous videos, and rather than completely renovating the paddock, we wanted to see how much improvement we could get by doing the absolute basics. So we let the horses graze it right down, ran the harrows over it to spread the manure around, and then we just broadcast some ryegrass and subclover. Then harrowed it again to work some of that seed into the surface. We did that all in May. That was it. No tilling, no fertilizer, no soil amendments. Pretty much the budget version, or a far less intrusive method that doesn't disturb the soil and microbiome, or perhaps the wishful thinking version. Now, before anyone says, well, of course it didn't work. What are you, some kind of idiot? We weren't actually expecting miracles. Earlier this year, we had a soil test done on this paddock, and to put it politely, the soil wasn't exactly winning any awards. It was low in fertility, and it really needed improving. That's one of the reasons why we chose ryegrass and subclover, instead of some other slow establishing perennial species. They're generally quicker to germinate and establish if conditions are favorable. So we thought they'd give us the best chance. Worst case, we'd learn something. Best case, we'd save ourselves a heap of money on future paddocks. Honestly, either outcome was valuable.
Different types. Amongst the capeweed.
So, what happened? Fast forward about 2 months and, well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. There are definitely patches where the seed has germinated. Some areas actually look reasonably good. But when you compare it to the back paddocks, it's really not even close. The majority of this paddock just hasn't established the way we'd hoped. So why? Well, we think there are probably several reasons. I don't think there's one single thing we can point at. It's probably 5 or 6 smaller factors all working against us, starting with soil fertility. The first is simply the condition of the soil. Grass seedlings need far more than just seed and rain. They need nutrients, available immediately after germination. Phosphorus is particularly important because it drives early root development, and if roots can't develop properly, seedlings struggle to access water and nutrients, making them much more vulnerable to drying out and being outcompeted. Calcium helps improve the structure, allowing roots to penetrate more easily, while clovers also prefer adequate phosphorus and a suitable soil pH so the nitrogen-fixing bacteria on their roots can function effectively. Without those conditions, plants can germinate, but they don't necessarily thrive. You see that dog in the paddock out there? Is he on screen? The second issue was probably seed to soil contact. Although we harrowed everything twice, we never actually disturbed the soil very much. A lot of seed probably landed on old pasture, dead grass, manure, or weeds, rather than making good contact with the soil itself. Good seed contact means the seed can consistently absorb moisture. Poor contact means it dries out much more easily before establishing. The third factor was competition. When we renovated the back paddocks, we basically reset everything. Here, all the weeds already had a head start. Capeweed, onion grass, existing pasture, and a few other broadleaf weeds. Every one of those already had established roots. They were already taking moisture, already taking nutrients, already capturing sunlight. Our tiny seedlings had to fight all of that from day one. It's a little like entering a marathon, except everyone got an hour head start. Then there was the weather. When we sowed this paddock, we were still coming off a pretty dry period. The really heavy rain you've seen recently hadn't arrived yet. The creeks were still dry and the paddocks were dry. Seeds don't just need rain eventually, they really need fairly consistent soil moisture through those first few weeks while they're germinating and establishing roots. Although we did receive enough rain that I expected more to come up, it probably just wasn't as consistent as we would have liked. So why are the horses going back in, you might ask? Now, this might seem a little bit backwards. If we're disappointed, why put the horses back in? Well, our sacrifice paddock has done exactly what it was supposed to do. It's protected our better paddocks over winter, but after all this recent rain, it's becoming very wet and we don't want the horses churning it up into a muddy mess or injuring their feet. This paddock still has grass, just not as much as we'd hoped. So we're going to rotate them through here for about 4 weeks. Then they're going to head out into the back paddocks once we've finished the fencing, shelters and water setup out there. That'll give this paddock a long rest before we tackle it again. What we plan to do differently. Personally, I think next time we'll go back to the method that actually worked. Sometimes farming teaches you that shortcuts really aren't shortcuts. We'll probably let the horses chew it down, till it, apply fertilizer like we did out the back, and reseed it properly with a pasture that we want. Then give it a much longer rest. Yes, it's more work, but looking at how well those back paddocks are performing, I think it's the best course of action, at least for the time being. So although today's project hasn't exactly been the success we were hoping for, I don't really see it as a wasted effort, pretty much because we learned something. We now know that on our soil, at least, simply broadcasting seed into the existing paddock isn't enough to achieve the results we're after. And honestly, I'd much rather find that out on one paddock than repeat the same mistake across the whole farm. That being said, we believe that once the soil nutrients get a refresh from fertilizing with the SP, calcium and AgriBoost, then likely in the future oversowing like we did already here, we think it'll probably work, as the soil will hopefully have the correct and enough ingredients in it to get the grass to germinate. But I'd genuinely love to hear your thoughts though. If you've established pasture on poor soils before, what worked for you? Did you find fertilizer made the biggest difference? Was weed control the key? Or is there something else you'd tried that's reasonably achievable without bringing in a whole fleet of machinery? So please leave your suggestions below, because we'll definitely be having another crack at this paddock in the near future. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully not another project that failed video. Here he comes. Come on. Come on. Your timing is impeccable. Good man. Come on. Good boy. Oh, he's all wet. See you on the next one.
Hold on now.
Lots of happy snots. Is that nice? Are you so pleased? Are you so happy? Oh, the fucking gate's off now.
They were up to absolute strife today in the driveway.
Yeah, I bet. I saw some
Yeah, Manny got in the shed.
Which shed?
Kiri got into the day yard. She kept knocking down all the fences.